This YouTube video was presented by Screamscape, your ultimate guide to theme parks.
All right, so here we are sitting in this really comfortable coaster train with Korey, the engineer and founding partner, and all these kind of great titles for the Gravity Group.
That's right, yeah, I'm one of four. We got Chad and I guess Michael and Larry, they're not with us today. But yeah, we're in the car for the ride that's going to Walibi Rhône-Alpes, which is in France, kind of between Lyon and Geneva. It's in the mountains, kind of the middle of nowhere.
It's in Europe somewhere.
Yes.
And it's really themed.
Yeah, this is, I think, going to be our most heavily themed Timberliner train yet. And it's got the saw blade out front so that as the train's going around, that can cut the wood track.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
That seems dangerous.
It's a good feature.
I can see it, picturing it spinning while the ride's going on.
Yeah, I mean, right now, like, we left it, can't quite reach it, but yeah, I mean, while the ride is going, we're just going to let it freely rotate. It'll probably, the wind will catch it, and it'll probably rotate the wrong way, but I don't think many people will notice that. Only the most...
nerdiest of people.
Yeah, the nerdiest of people.
So like Dan over there.
Right? Yeah, of course.
You know, it's interesting to me seeing the evolution of the Timberliner trains, going from Wooden Warrior, where it was just the simple front, and now all kinds of theme. And now we have a saw blade on the front of it.
Yeah, I never, when I opened up that email and saw that saw blade, I never in a million years thought their theming would look quite like this. But yeah, Fabian, the art director over at Company de Alps, the parent company Walibi, he just did a great job. They've got on the wall back there, we've got some of the other set designs that they've put together, where there's actually humor built in as well.
Humor and wooden roller coasters, that's kind of like my thing here.
Yeah.
I like funny stuff.
Anyways, like the side of the train here, it says saw 7. So if you said that in French, it'd be like saw, the French word for saw is like sai, and then siet would be 7. So siet, or sai siet means socks. Like, you know, like
these things.
Your socks, yeah, which is, so the French people will find that humorous, I guess. And then there's some other contraptions that they're going to have in the queue line of other ways these lumberjacks were trying to cut down the trees. Because, I mean, the story, they've developed a storyline for the ride where there are these lumberjacks that are looking for the most efficient way to cut down the trees in the forest. And so there's this one, like, slingshot-looking device that shoots saw blades into the trees. It seems really, really safe. And then they have this other like ball saw, you know, like a robotic arm with like a ball on the end with saw blades. Again, very safe. If you're looking for a remote control toy for your children for Christmas. But yeah, I mean, some of the names for that, like the one thing is called like the Psy Saw Lance. So the Psy Lance, like quiet.
Yeah.
So
a lot of international words there. I'm impressed you can pronounce all of them.
I'm not really doing a good job.
Okay.
My French counterparts are probably watching this saying he just annihilated that word. Anyways.
How does the theming work?
Yeah, well, for us, we don't do any of it.
Okay, that works perfectly for you guys then.
Yeah, I mean, our specialty is designing wooden roller coasters and the trains, and so when it comes time to work with a creative team, you know, we give them certain information about our cars and say, look, you can do this, this, and this. And in this case, you know, their company provided us with an image of what they wanted the car to look like. And then we got out some 3D Studio, and one of our associates, he sort of modeled something up, and then we cut it out of foam, like CNC, and then turned that over to an artist, a fiberglass artist, who then added detail and made a mold and basically made this piece. It's not like I made this by any means, you know.
I thought this was you in your backyard with a chisel and a giant rock, and this is what you came up with.
Yeah, I mean, maybe when our company found, you know, was first getting started, it was more like that. But no, we just work with some design professionals in the area, and you know, this is something where, you know, each front we do, I think, is more and more unique. A couple of years ago, we had the Triceratops front for Rorosaurus. Last year, we had the locomotive front for Switchback and CDTs. And, you know, with each train that we do, you know, there's a certain boundary, and we're just trying to push the limits and do something special. And I think that when you have a unique front such as this, it just adds a lot to just the feel of the ride. So, you know, like when you think of brochures and pictures, everyone is going to notice that and associate this with the ride in France. So I think that's something unique. It's cool. I think every park should have a front like this.
Oh yeah, I see this and I think it'll look perfect on the souvenir cups. The refillable souvenir cups have this on the front. Oh, it'd be great. I would buy like 6 of them.
So you just think about like those souvenir cups.
Oh, my kitchen is just decorated with souvenir cups. It's almost embarrassing.
So it's not about the ride anymore. Well, yeah, that was a great ride. No, they had a nice cup.
It looked pretty. The prettiness is important.
About the cups.
Yeah. So our listeners are not going to let me walk away unless we talk about the ride a little bit. Is it going to have lots of airtime, which you guys are known for?
Sure. Yeah. The ride. It's when I think about this ride, I think of it as sort of a cross between the Wooden Warrior, which is, you know, in Connecticut, 9 spots of airtime.
One of the best wooden roller coasters ever, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it's just got like the 35-foot lift, but it's got the 45-foot total drop. I mean, that's a great ride with 9 spots of airtime. So, you know, it's like part that, and then if you merge it with like Twister at Grunelund in Sweden, where, you know, there's this tight curves and twists and high banking. And so what we put together is something that's sort of like an out and back roller coaster, but sort of like Twister. It's kind of like half and half, but we were able to cram in 11 spots of airtime. And something that's kind of unique on this ride is we've got like a double up section of the ride. Yeah, that's not the unique part.
Okay.
He was
I was like, oh, double up. That sounds kind of
really
normal.
Anyways, there's this double up, but on the first half of the double up, you're actually going to be banked one way, like 30 degrees, and then the second part of the double up, you're banked the other way, like 45, maybe even 50 degrees. It's been a while since I've looked at the drawings. And then you actually like drop into the turnaround going the other way. So it's very much like bam, 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 and it's going to be very graceful. Kind of, I say graceful and you think like ballerina, but I mean it's more like skateboarding cool here, where it's like,
or those new like hoverboard thingies. Have you seen them that people are walking around on?
Oh, those are things that are. Oh, you mean like the 2-wheel things? Yeah. When we go to China, I see those, and I'm like, where do people buy those? Because I want to bring those home. But,
they sell them here.
Yeah, but why buy them here if you can go direct to the manufacturer in some city in China that you've never heard of? That's why we do rides designs in China, you know, so that I can go buy cool things.
Buy cool things.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
negotiating in China for those cool things is half the fun, though. But anyways, so about these rides, right?
Where does the creative genius come from with your double up banking one way to the other? Did you guys just sit around and you're like, I'm going to see if a park wants this and see if this works and then figure it out, or just...
I saw it on a cup.
Okay.
No, we like our cups as well. No, I mean, we're in the office, and there are a group of us that are working on rides, trying to come up with the next best thing. And really, when you have a ride like the ride at Wallaby, I mean, you have to know the park. I mean, that's very much a family park. It's not a park where they're going to target these teenagers or these thrill junkies. I mean, it's something where, you know what, we want a good solid ride for families, you know, that parents and kids, they can enjoy together. You know, something that's worthy enough to be, you know, a child's first wooden roller coaster, but awesome enough where mom and dad are going to be like, you know what, if Susie wants to ride that 5 more times, let's do that, you know. And so that's kind of what we look at, like in the case of this park. You know, we know that it's not going to be a 100-foot tall monster ride, and so we start with like a 55-foot tall ride, and then think, you know, how can we push the bounds? What can we do on this ride that would be a little bit different? And, you know, we love airtime, right?
The airtime is great.
The airtime is good.
So it makes Wooden Warrior the #3 wooden roller coaster in the world, in my opinion.
I mean, that and the cup. I mean, they have a good cup at Kwasi, right?
Well, no, the only souvenir Kwasi had was a chunk of the ride with with the Wooden Warrior logo on it.
I have a shirt.
Oh.
They print shirts at Kwasi, too.
They must have been sold out. You must have bought the last one.
I think they make them custom, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like
if you design the ride, then you get a shirt.
Actually, I did get one that said I designed the ride. Like, they wanted me to wear it around the park, which was kind of interesting. But anyways, so we designed these rides. They're unique, and you got me completely off my train of thought here.
Oh, don't worry.
So I'm thinking about having a drink in one of those. Like actually, Brian, where's your Ravine Flyer 2 cup? I think.
Oh, it's at the hotel?
That's too bad. He really loves cups. He didn't come to talk about the roller coaster. He came to talk about the cups. That was a great one. It really is. It's full color, and it's got pictures all the way around on all the sides.
And then, so when you see those, are you like, how did they get that shot without being somewhere where we told them they shouldn't be?
Well, no, I mean, they own the ride. They can go anywhere they want. Actually, with drones now, you know, you can just take some amazing shots. Like the ride we did, the Cuchulainn coaster in Ireland, there is an Irish drone company that just took the most incredible footage. I mean, I looked at that and I said, that looks fake. I mean, it's just like, it's so well choreographed that it just looked too nice.
You know, what's funny about that is my girlfriend wants to go to Ireland. I was like, no, there's no real interesting roller coasters there. Then you guys opened that, so I'm like, hell yeah, let's go to Ireland.
They also have nice cups. I'm not making this part up. Like, they've got Mr. Tato in the park, who's great. He's got his own song on iTunes as well. I highly recommend it. I want the iTunes sales for the Mr. Tato song to just spike.
Go up.
Where suddenly someone will be looking at their revenue and they'll be like, wow, right after November, something about the Vote for Tato, I think it's called Vote for Tato or the Mr. Tato. But anyways, like, they have these cups, they're coffee cups, and they basically have his face around it, and then Mr. Tato wears a hat, a black hat, and that is the lid on the cup.
Seems
I mean,
awesome.
That really, I'd look forward to that.
I love cups.
But if you go, I mean, certain stands, not all stands in the park sell that cup. So you're going to have to be
I'd have to go around a couple times.
Yeah, you're going to have to be a discerning guest.
Well, as long as the cups by your ride, or the stands by your ride sell the cup, then I'll notice.
Yeah, you know, I'm not sure. I'm trying to think back over the summer. The restaurant, they have this lodge. They also have some of the best food there. Where, I mean, if you're on site and you have to eat food, I mean, it's nice not to elephant ears and you know, hamburgers and stuff like that every day. So they have really good fish and chips.
Fish and chips, that sounds good.
No, but I mean, like, every day it'll be a different variety of, like, fresh fish.
Man, switching the menus up, like, impressive.
Yeah. I mean, I like food, so.
I like Taco Bell. Like, that's the food I like.
Then you won't like Tato Park because they don't serve bad food. They serve really high quality. I think a lot of it's locally sourced too, which is pretty awesome. But anyways, roller coasters, they're wood. And I mean, the layout that we have at Wallaby Run Alps, we're really, really proud of that ride. We've got some other rides that, you know, we're not talking about that are going on as well.
And I'm sure we'll see pretty trains for them next year.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were actually, it's funny, this year we were talking about doing a train front that wasn't related to the ride at all. But, you know, when it all was said and done, you know, we thought, well, we could make this into something, show off the Wallaby ride, because we've got other ideas that are really cool, and we think, well, if we just did this concept art, parks would love it. But
it's definitely eye-appealing.
Yeah, and it'll look great on a cup, like you said.
Look great on a cup, look great on the map, it'll look great on posters everywhere. It looks like you guys have a winner.
You can't drink out of a poster. That's what I say.
Can't drink out of a poster.
So your whole kitchen, I mean, can we just kind of move this around to, like, Korey Talks Cups instead of in the loop? So we're in your kitchen.
Yes.
Right? And let's just say for just a minute that you invite me over and I come over.
I mean, you design roller coasters, you can come over anytime you want.
All right, knock, knock, knock. I come on over and you're like, come on in. I'm surprised to see you. Where are you located out of?
Oh, I'm not wearing my badge. It's Orlando, Florida.
Orlando.
I probably live like a minute and a half away from the convention center.
So I could come. Okay, so I could come over, and if I did that and I came in, and I was like, I'm thirsty. Like, is it all over the kitchen where these?
Well, no.
These
See,
cups? Are they behind glass?
No, they're not. Well, so
I'm just trying to think.
The souvenir cups are all like on top of the cabinets, decorated, and it looks nice. It's not.
Would I, if I grabbed a cup, would you be like,
no, you
don't
can drink
out of my cups?
You can drink out of any cup you want to drink out of. But
I mean,
I would
but
get
rinse it first, because
Yeah.
it's been up there and there might be some dust that settled
That's why I would get you a cup that was probably in a
in
cabinet.
the cabinet. So we don't drink out of these cups.
I mean, I guess you could if you wanted to.
We
I
drink
have
out
not.
of like the Waldemar cup that Brian has, which is very nice. It's a nice piece.
But he didn't bring it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna, your girlfriend might consider that. I mean, it's one of those like coffee ones that is suitable for warm and cold beverages.
Oh, that's good strategy there.
Yeah. But anyways, so that's interesting. So what's your favorite cup?
I got a lot of cups. I don't really know.
Come on. You could ask me my favorite coaster, and I'd come up with something. I'd say, I've got a lot of coasters, but blah blah blah.
Well, I feel like you can't say you have your favorite coaster, because then you're gonna upset other parks. They're like, what do you mean my favorite coaster's not this one?
Well, they're all good. I mean, they're kind of like children.
Yes.
But I mean, like they all have like features. Like, tell me about a cup with some nice features.
Okay, well, it's got a handle and it's got a nice straw.
No. Which cup though? Tell me like what's on the cup. Describe it vividly for our guests at home.
Okay. Well, I think one of my favorite ones is a Cedar Point one that's shaped like an actual horse for their Maverick roller coaster.
Really, that's cool.
And it's pretty cool.
Is it ceramic or?
No, it's plastic.
Plastic?
It's like one of the souvenir ones that you fill up with Pepsi products, back when Cedar Point was a Pepsi park.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
So
it's
do you
red.
consider it like, we're talking materials now, is it more of like a PVC, or does it have BPA?
I
mean, we want it to be safe for the
I wish
children.
it would be BPA free, but I don't know. There was no sticker on it that said it. My water bottle I use for work is BPA free, which is great.
What about like dishwasher safe? I mean, I always look for that, but
it's probably hand wash only.
That's got to be tricky.
Yeah, it's especially shaped like a horse. Where you got the little leg things going on.
I've got some like Harry Potter mugs.
Oh yeah, the butterbeer mug.
Yeah. From it was a couple years ago, IAAPA, and I tried to bring those into our house, and my wife was like, "Get rid of those." They've been in the trunk of my car for the last year.
Hopefully you wash them out. They might be a little moldy by now.
Well, no, I mean, they were perfectly usable, and I thought, someone's going to appreciate these.
Yeah.
Maybe
theme park
put
cups.
Them on eBay or something.
You could have just given them to me. I like theme park cups.
I'll know for next year. I'm gonna pay closer attention to cups.
All right. There's a couple of booths here that sell the cups.
Well, I saw that. I mean, did you spend time? I'm actually.
No,
actually after this. I have an interview set up for episode 2 of, The Cup is Half Full.
Okay.
That's kind of what I'm calling my podcast.
That makes sense.
It's a video cast. Do they still call them podcasts?
Yeah, we still podcast. We do a weekly podcast.
They don't even really sell an iPod anymore, though.
No, it's
kind of
really
sad.
just off of iTunes. You put it on your computer.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what's going on here. This guy's literally like talking to my camera.
There's just a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's IAAPA. Everything's crazy.
The IAAPA show.
Well,
but anyways, yeah, episode 2 is going to be down there, and we're going to talk about cups, and also like when you buy these cups at the parks, the return on investment. Just how like the free refills. I think it increases sales by maybe 15%.
Yeah.
And people, I mean, they don't really drink that much because, frankly, let's put a lot of ice in there.
Oh, I know.
Water's cheap. It's a renewable resource, right?
Fill it up with ice, so like a shot of Pepsi, shot of cola. Yeah. It's not a liter of cola, it's a shot of cola.
Which, I mean, that brings us to episode 3, which episode 3 is going to be about like Coke Freestyle or the Pepsi version. Have you seen the Pepsi version?
Sphere. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Icy's actually got a freestyle booth now.
What do you think of those freestyle machines? Do you like them?
I like them.
Yeah.
But I don't like when the person in front of me doesn't really know what they want. They're like, let me try cherry vanilla Dr. Pepper. Not very good. Let me try orange Sprite. Not very good. And I'm like, just pick one.
I think there are 2 reasons why I think they're a faulty product. And this is my editorial. And this is going to be, he's going to splice this into the end of episode 3. So my editorial is this. And I've gone to many restaurants now where they have a freestyle or sphere, call it what you will. But I mean, everything comes out the same spout, and I mean, inevitably, the flavor just isn't there. It doesn't taste the same.
It's going to touch.
It's lost something. And like as a consumer of some of these beverages, I mean, it's not the same beverage anymore. You get a little bit of orange with your Coca-Cola. Who wants that?
No.
It's like at home. If you were if you were like gonna pour something in one of your cups on the shelf, and it's like you put Kool-Aid in, like a red cherry, obnoxious something Kool-Aid, and you didn't drink it all, and then you're like, well, no, I'm gonna have a little bit of Coca-Cola in there. It's like,
and then I want orange juice.
This doesn't, it doesn't quite, because there's like this residue on it. So that's part of it. And I mean, the other thing about it too is like, if it's an old style machine, you just put the cup up against it and it comes down. But with these other, it's like dot, dot, dot. You got to push a million buttons. I want to get in and get out and get my drink.
I can see that, but at least it's pretty. Well, I don't know how we got on this tangent, but this is by far my favorite interview of IAAPA.
You know the greatest thing about, like, Pat's standing back there and he's like, what the heck is going on? I don't do an interview and we go 20 minutes about souvenir cups? I'm never letting you be in charge again. Anyways.
It's been a little bit of both.
I'm surprised you don't want to talk about like the Cuchulainn coaster in Ireland. You know, you were planning a trip there.
Well, honestly, I didn't know the name. I just knew there was a coaster in Ireland.
It's hard to pronounce.
I've noticed you haven't really been pronouncing this one.
The ride at Wallaby, we haven't released the name of it yet.
Okay.
There's a press release at the park next week, where they're going to have like the local French newspapers and all of the European people there. And so they wanted to hold back some detail. We've also got the on-ride video that I could play for you of the Wallaby ride, which is pretty cool. I think it might be 1 or 2 iterations back, you know, in terms of the design. Because in our office, we design something, and then we continue to just kind of refine it, you know, sometimes up until the day they put the bent up. With wood, you have more flexibility, you know, and so it's not like it's our goal to do that. But if you're in the process and you're like, wow, you know, I think I could do something that would be even cooler if I did this, we do have some flexibility, and that's one of the great benefits of wood. I mean, like on Twister, you know, they had part of the structure up, and I remember calling Johan Matthias and Peter Osbeck up and just having a conversation like, you know, we could go over this, or we could try right now to just change it and go through it. And they're like, yeah, let's try to go through it. Yeah. And so, I mean, that's just kind of a cool thing. But yeah, the Cuchulainn ride has 19 spots of airtime, and it's a fabulous ride, great park. I really like the Cuchulainn themed front. He's this Irish warrior. I don't know, do you know much about Cuchulainn?
No.
What do they teach kids in school nowadays?
Well, I'm in my 8th year of college right now, so I obviously haven't learned a lot.
What are you studying there?
Theme park management.
Oh, okay. I thought that maybe it was going to be like interviews.
No,
like, you know, like
I'm not doing very good about that.
Speaking or something. So
I got an A in public speaking though, yeah.
Well, that's good.
Only Orlando would have that major.
Yeah, well, so that's good. So that's why you're down here? Where are you from originally?
Small state of Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, okay. And how did you first become interested in cups?
Cups? I happened to like drinking beverages at parks, and I would
So you got a drink and you're like,
oh, this cup's cool.
It's got to come in something. That's kind of neat. And then you're like, I could throw it away and fill up a landfill, or I could put it on top of my cabinet.
Yeah, and that's what happened.
Yeah. I've got a few cups myself.
Well, I'm glad. I guess we're both cup connoisseurs.
One of my favorite cups, and this is when I was young, my family, they took us on a great vacation. It was all across the country, right? And so my dad, he was able to get a month off work, which
that's impressive.
It is. I mean, it's a great. Obviously.
If you're Clint, you would just quit your job and and then hope you get hired back if you want to take a month off.
But anyway, so month off, mom, dad, 2 kids. So it's like me and my brother, Dodge Caravan, and it's kind of like we're going to go across and we're going to go to Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm. I mean, that's kind of
like the vacation movie.
Well, I mean, sort of, but I mean, the premise here was, you know, there were a lot of other things, Yosemite, Mount Rushmore, all these things, Grand Canyon. So it's really how I got to know America. And along the way, we also stopped at the Ponderosa Ranch. Oh. Now, granted, like up to this point in my life, when I thought of Ponderosa, I thought of, salad bar and whatnot. But so we got a little tin cup. and it had like you know, Haas and all the different people from the Ponderosa show, which is closed now. You can't go to the Ponderosa Ranch.
No.
But it came with the Haas burger. You had to get the Haas burger combo. But I still have that tin cup.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's a nice cup. I never drink out of it. Now I think I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna just kind of have a toast in your honor, Andrew.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And when I ever get to France, I'm going to ride this.
And buy a cup.
And buy a cup. I'm going to toast in your honor.
I hope so. And don't forget about the Mr. Tato cup.
No.
It's so cool. I have one back at my office in Ohio.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. I'm going to send you a picture. Do you have a card?
Yeah, I do have a card.
Okay, we're going to do that.
We're going to have to...
Yeah, right here.
Dan! I need my business card. He's going to send me pictures of cups. There you go. We actually got these printed up just for the show, aren't
Really, that's cool. Now, I was going to call the group the American Cup Enthusiasts, but I couldn't. I mean, apparently the acronym is taken.
Yeah.
So
but Ace Bandages.
We're trying to come up with something better, like, I don't know, maybe we could brainstorm. You could be like, I mean, I'm obviously going to be president of the club when our podcast goes live with episode 1.
Well,
2,
that's
3.
great. I'll be the senior executive vice president.
Wow. How do they come up with that?
Show the camera.
So a couple of years ago, our buddy Clint, he misspelled owner and he wrote ower. And then we realized that they're just going to copy and paste it, whatever we write. So I Googled fancy business titles. This one came up and I put that on my badge.
Senior executive vice president.
Last year it said intern.
That's a step up. I mean,
That is.
wow. If I would have known that, you know, I would have polished this up a little bit before.
I'm not sure where to go from here. We're thinking mailroom clerk next year.
Really, I've been there. Actually, there was someone that came by our booth and asked what I did at the company, and I said I ordered office supplies, which is true. I mean, I've done that before at the company, but they didn't really care to. They're like, oh, so you're not important. And I'm like, yeah, don't talk to me.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
You know the one thing though, like the way this interview, it's gone on and on and on, right? And one of the reasons why it did that is we're not standing, we're sitting in like very comfortable Timberliner chairs.
Which used to be the logo. Remember when the logo used to look like Timber Giners?
I mean, that was maybe really long ago. I mean,
I still have
wow. We didn't even put it on a cup, so I'm surprised he remembers this.
So the L was backwards in it, so it looked like...
Well, I mean, I guess there was a version of the logo. I mean, that was like way back yonder, you know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we've come a long ways.
Yeah.
And
the L's now the right direction.
Yeah, well, forward. And backwards now. We actually go backwards on our cars too. You didn't ask me anything about switchback, you know, which was another important ride that we did this year. It's behind me. It actually has the steepest drop on a wooden roller coaster now, 87 degrees when you're going backwards. You basically, you came in, we talked about a front car, and we didn't really cover anything about that ride. We didn't talk about like Kukulkan. I mean, I kind of, and now we're talking a little bit about switchback, but that's all my prompting. It's kind of like, what's going on here? It's like you're thinking cups.
I'm thinking cups.
We have basic plain whitey-tighty styrofoam in the back if you want one.
No, I don't like styrofoam cups. But
fine.
you know, switchback looks sweet. Our buddy Rando went to go do it. I did all the editing for that video. Got it up on our YouTube page. So it
and
looks
you're
good.
like, that's old news. That's why I'm not going to talk about it here.
Well, it looks cool and pretty.
Event.
2 trains.
Yeah, I mean, it's a steel structure.
Yeah.
And I mean, they didn't have a lot of space at the park. And so, you know, there was some discussion about doing a traditional style roller coaster. And then there was some discussion about doing something that would be like what we did with Switchback, a shuttle style coaster. And the owner, you know, he and his son, they talked to Chad Miller, who I think has sat here in the Timberliner for other interviews. And it was like, what can you do? You know, like, I really like that click, 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 click going up the lift. And so that's where we kind of came up with this. We'll have a traditional lift, and then we'll still have the shuttle aspect. And because of that, with that transfer device, we're able to have 2 trains, which is something pretty unique to a shuttle coaster. And you're like, I'm grabbing my name badge.
I dropped it, and I was like, oh, I don't want all of my business cards to fall all over the place.
Well, as a senior executive vice president, you should have like Pat over there pick them up for you.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
so we're doing well. What's your title, Pat? Host. So you're like the Oprah of the group, but you're not even here.
And he's a staff member.
Staff member.
We get through one interview, and it's like 30 minutes, mostly about cups.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it though.
It was a lot of fun.
But I mean, the first episode of the
we're doing a
Cup is Half
podcast
Full.
now.
Yeah,
The Cup is half full.
We've done like 2. We got some episodes,
Yeah.
footage.
It's been great. Well, thank you very much for your time.
All right,
I hope
take
you
care.
don't feel like we wasted it, because
It's Friday. It's Friday at IAAPA.
You already sold like 7 roller coasters. That's all that matters.
I've actually ran out of fingers.
Oh.
I'm having one surgically added for all the rides so I can count them all.
All right. Well, it's been fun.
You don't know how to come after that. What do you do to follow that up?
Surgical fingers.
I'm right there. I'm like, well, no.
Good luck, and hopefully the name is something we can pronounce.
It is. I know what the name is.
All right.
And we can pronounce it. And I don't know that there's maybe a joke in there, maybe not. There's those French and their sense of humor is great. All right. Get out of my
It's been a pleasure.
Timberliner. You've been evicted.